Every couple day update, diddly-doo, 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 diddly-doo. Every couple day update, diddly-doo, 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 diddly-doo. Well, here we are for another every couple day update, diddly-doo, diddly-doo. I got the rig hooked up, doing the dual view. I really think this is cool. I'm just sitting here chilling in a park using the Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi, and we got Miss Molly Faye in the hizzers. She's just down here, chilling like a villain, and yeah. Man, I got van update. I had a brake leak, so I had my friend sit and pump the brakes, and I kind of checked all the tires, and I found very slow drip in one of them, and so like every 3 or 4 days I had to keep adding brake fluid because it was leaking out, and so finally I brought it to a guy, this like guy that fixes shit in his backyard kind of thing, and it turns out that the caliper was like totally fucked, and that's kind of why I had like a squealy noise on that tire, on the passenger side rear tire. And man, there's so much activity going on. There's people everywhere. This is crazy. Yeah, so fuck, man, I had already called around to every parts place in town, in the city and outside, and the cheapest I could get a new caliper for was $350, plus tax, and that doesn't include the installment. And then this buddy was like $220. I was like, fuck, all right, let's do it. And so I'm thinking like, okay, $220 plus the labor, but it was like, no, $220 was like the amount to like do the repair and get the part. I was like, holy shit. So like I gave him like a $30 tip because like, fuck, I was expecting a lot more. Anywho, so that's fixed. One side, I'm gonna get the other side fixed in like a couple weeks. Just need to put some coin aside, and then and then the front two need to be fixed. So man, it's like $1,000 of shit that needs to be fixed, picked away at. So I hope old Vangelina Jolie here, hope Miss Vanjie can stay the course. Hope she can last the winter, putting all this money, getting her all warmed up. And yeah, speaking of warmed up, did I show you guys this like heater system that I made? So it's made out of clay pots. This is the base of a clay pot flipped upside down, and there's a threaded bolt that goes up through, and then there's like a series of nuts and washers that hold everything together. Inside there's actually another smaller pot up inside, and so the idea, and then like another bigger pot, and then washers and nuts as spacers to keep everything where it should be in there. And so when you got like a tea light, you light that and the heat's just lost in the room. It just goes around. That little candle is actually putting off heat, and it's just like, oh, whatever, I'm going out in the room, and just kind of diffusing away. And so by putting them in under here, the system of having the two clay pots, it creates this like thermal barrier inside, and it traps the heat. And then the outside, so the inside pot gets really hot, and then this outside pot radiates the heat outward. I lit one the other night just as a test. I lit one candle and I put it in. It was probably in for like a half hour, and the whole shit, like the base doesn't get hot at all, but everything up top, and especially the threaded, if it wasn't threaded, I wouldn't have been able to pick it up. I could just barely stand the heat on my fingers hold to pick it up and move it. but it was hot. And then after like an hour, this got so hot I couldn't touch it at all. I had to use a cloth to pick it up and move it. And yeah, so like it got really hot inside the van too. That's just from one candle for like, you know, a half hour. So if I had lit all four, this whole shit would have been just like, wah! And it hasn't gotten that cold yet. I haven't turned this thing on again. I mean, other than one night I wanted a little bit of light and I just lit a candle just for light. And that's it. So I haven't had to run my clay heater. What's new? I don't know what else is new in here. Oh, I'm installing a Velcro system up on the ceiling for the blanket. There's a black blanket that comes across. Whoosh. So at nighttime, and especially from a distance, when you look inside a car at night, it's all kind of dark and shit in there. You can't really see in. But if someone's in there with a light on, you'll fucking clearly see them. So I have a blanket. It's 2 black pieces of fabric sewn together, and I'm just gluing the Velcro to it today. And I've already had it hanging on a pole. I have like a, what do you call it? A shower curtain rod, spring loaded, that goes across right here, and it just kind of goes through the fabric. And that works great, but I don't like having the pole in here. I like to just pull the fabric down and fold it and put it in a bin. Because when it's on the pole, it's a pain in the ass putting it on and off the pole, and then what I do with the pole in the day, I'd like to just get rid of the pole altogether. Not a fan of the pole. I don't like the pole. Heyo. Yeah, so that'll be cool when that can go up. Hopefully tonight the glue will be dry. I use the shoe glue. Glue that shit on there. That shit is amazing. Yeah, I love it. I use it on all kinds of shit. Shoes. I use it on the goo. I use it on all this inside shit. Oh, I had before, when I had a different window system in place, I had these like foam blocks blocking the window. I had glued Velcro strips into the window. And yeah, and it, you know, it's so gluey, like it really sticks because it's got like a little bit of a rubberiness to it, so that when you pull on it, it has that little bit of siliconeness to it, some give, little rubber bounce feedback, instead of being like rigid and just cracking and ripping off the glass. It was easily, it came on and off easily, being pulled at. And I didn't even use a scraper to get it off when I was done. I just like peeled away at it slowly and stretched a little bit at a time, and it would come off the glass. So it's easy to remove too. Shoe Goo, they are not a sponsor of my show, but that would be cool. That would be a cool sponsor to have. Like, glue? Do you need to glue some shit? I could like come up with like different commercials. I could just work it somehow into my conversation every day. So I glued the cat to the dog back to back to see who could land on their feet when I threw them off the house. Did not work out so well. But the glue held. Shoe Goo. Hey. Alright, I think we're going to call this quits today. I want to go do some things. I want to go some places. I want to see some things. I want to smell some things. And, yeah. Maybe I'll do a drive-in video later. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do later when the traffic jam starts. So it's 12:12 right now. Make a wish. Make a wish. Ding. Wish for more wishes. So we'll do a drive around because no one seems to understand the traffic or believe me when I talk about the traffic, or you only have your own ideas in relation to what traffic is in your mind, where you've grown up and where you've lived. And like you see traffic in movies and shit, but it's always like the Exchange in LA or some shit. But like this is like fucking madness, man. And I want everyone to see it and be like, oh my god. So yeah, I'll try and get some good traffic videos. That's it. Peace, love, and light. Namaste and all that other good noise. Every couple day update. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Every couple day update. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Every couple day update. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Every couple day update.